Hello, thank you for listening. Welcome to the inaugural second episode of the podcast Without a Cause. You know what I realized is you can call any episode like you want an inaugural episode because it's the first, like this is the second episode.
Oh.
So it's like I could be like, hello, welcome to the inaugural 15th episode, the inaugural 77th episode. I could just call every episode an inaugural episode.
It's also just one of a kind, so
yeah.
None other like it.
Well, there might be another like it if you come on again.
That's true. Hopefully we talk about different stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That'd be the idea. So, my guest today is Sonya Lanelle Chávez. Good friend of mine. We've known each other for how long? How many years now? Like 8 or 9 years? Something?
I think 10.
10 years?
Maybe 10 or 9.
Long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah.
And she has a gift for me. And I don't know what it is, but
it's melted. There's a big stain on the bag, and there's a dead flower on it.
Aww.
It was alive, because I know you like yellow daisies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not with us anymore.
Oh yeah, it's a cute flower. It's a cute dead flower. But yeah, it has my name on it. She wrote my name on it, and there's like a big melted patch on the bottom of it. So I'm gonna open it. There's also
a lot of pressure.
There's also there's a cat bell.
There are 2 cat bells.
2 cat bells.
Yeah.
Or jingle bells.
Yeah. I was gonna put 3, and then my brother got kind of like jealous and wanted one, so I gave him one. Dude.
Elliot. How'd you get so good at knots?
I don't know. You can put that on Cosmo's cat carrier.
I know.
You would love that.
Yeah. So, this episode is recording right now from my iPhone, which is placed strategically on top of a cat carrier because I needed to get it up a little bit higher off the table. And I don't know if you knew this about me, but I'm really big on meticulously opening presents. I'm like at Christmas, I'm that annoying person who will just carefully peel the tape off and just take my time with it. I'm not one who just dives into them. So sorry, this is taking so long.
Oh fuck, I have no idea. I haven't I got this for you a month ago now. So that's been in my car for a month. And it's not.
I don't know if this is the source.
Oh god.
Let's see. So there's 3. Oh, it smells so good. There's 3 individually wrapped things in here. It's so warm, whatever it is. It's warm and metallic. Oh boy, what do we got here?
Is it okay?
Ooh, oh.
I got you another goddamn candle. You need it.
It's a soy wax candle, and this
you should light it.
Yeah, it's bourbon cedar. I have 3 candles burning right now, but we're gonna start burning this one too. Bourbon cedar soy wax candle. Oh my gosh,
I wanted to get
really
a man scent for you.
Thank you. Only men enjoy bourbon and cedar.
Yeah, I think it's disgusting that I need Christmas blood.
How do I open it? It's all slippery. Let's see. I gotta use my manly muscles.
Burn that candle.
I know. There we go.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, it's not that bad. It just kind of melted up against the side a little bit. All right, cool. Can you give me that lighter? I think it's it's right there next to the TV. Right there. Big one.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I know. I know.
Lighter.
I know. I don't have any other lighters laying around. Okay, so that's lit. So candle number 4.
Yeah.
We're on the same wavelength. Candles. I don't know why I lit candles and turned the lights off, but that's kind of what I was feeling for this.
Hell yeah.
Set the mood. Okay, so we're moving on. Present number 2. Also kind of warm. Let's see. But it's...
I kind of forgot what I got you.
Yeah?
The candle. Oh, man.
Oh, this is...
It's just... Oh, I got you. Yeah,
a dream catcher.
Yeah.
2 dream Is it 2? Yeah,
it's
it is.
Just one.
Oh, it's just one,
but it's a double, I guess.
Yeah, so there's 2 individual dream catchers, but they're attached together.
It's so cute, right?
Aww.
Yeah, it's sweet.
I need this because I have been having interesting dreams recently.
Really? Me too.
Yeah. I have recently stopped smoking marijuana. So my
Devil's
dream.
herb.
Yeah, I know. So my dreams have been more kind of profound, or actually I'm having dreams. Usually when I do smoke, I don't have them at all.
Dude, I had a dream. It was a Matrix dream last night, where people were being put almost into massage chairs, but rows and rows in the school. They're yeah, we're just trying to teach people new skills by plugging them into this altered reality. But I found out that it was a secret society of women, this cult of women dressed in all white, trying to instill good behavior everybody and like taking away willpower. Isn't that a fucking crazy dream to have? I was like, what does this say about me?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you could definitely go down the rabbit hole with that one, thinking about all the meanings and all that. It is interesting that you mentioned the Matrix. I was going to say that...
we should just create a little, like...
Yeah. We should hang it up somewhere.
Oh, on the carrier.
Yeah, so alright, we're going to try to hang this dream catcher on the cat carrier right now.
I'll figure this out.
Yeah. But it's interesting you brought up the Matrix. So, okay, do you remember... Did you see all the Matrix movies?
I mean, kind of. I remember, like, the tribal dance.
Yes.
Like, the all-human dance.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Your music reminds me of what should be, like, playing at that part. Because, like, in that part, it's just, like... It's just, like... Yeah, I know. So it's, like, all the humans left, like, alive ever are, like, in Zion. That's the name of it.
Yeah,
and,
cool.
And in the second movie... Or they talk about it in the first movie, but in the second movie, they actually go to Zion and you see it. And,
what's it like?
It's like just like underground, and it's like in the whole plot of that movie is like the machines are burrowing to Zion, so it's like about getting ready to defend the last human civilization. But yeah, that tribal dance part is like a celebration to amp them up, like to prepare to like.
There's like it's like a dancing / sex scene.
Yes, right? Yes, Keanu Reeves and.
What's her name? She's amazing.
Carrie. Something. Carrie and something or other, Trinity. Okay, yeah, so Neo and Trinity are having sex, and it's definitely like a very, like I don't know, Keanu Reeves, his face just like it's just a very very funny sex scene just because for him alone, like she does really well like in the scene, but he just has that kind of blank Keanu Reeves face. He's like just covered in sweat and looking at her just like very very kind of just like blankly shocked almost. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
But anyways, yeah, that's what. So I was thinking about that before you came over. I was listening to your album, and that's what kind of reminds me what should be playing because it is like a weird like tribal kind of like music that's playing in the background, but it's somehow electronic, even though there's like no like electronic like instruments. It's just like people banging on drums or whatever. But then it comes into the kind of like a like an electronic beat and all that. And,
yeah, that's kind of something that. I don't know, it's like something that I'm intentionally doing, but I think also something that I can't really like get away from because I don't know where like how I started thinking of like where the idea came from, but I kept thinking of like marrying like the past with the future kind of because I don't know, I'm really like indigenous drumming and like indigenous music, like if you listen to like any kind of indigenous person's music, I think it's like it's obviously really spiritual, but it's like really I don't know, like visceral like to listen to, and it's like a very like human like primal sound, which I think is inherent in all music because I think as humans we have like an instinctual like primal connection to music.
Oh yeah.
But also, you know, we've been using technology to cut as like a tool.
Right.
So I think early on I thought, I don't know, I think I was really interested in like Native American chanting, and I started like sampling that, and I was like, this is really cool. Like this like weird like gritty like tribal electronic fusion, you know, where it's not necessarily like EDM tribal music.
Yeah.
They're like playing that like Electric Daisy Carnival or something weird. But yeah, that's always been like I think a cornerstone of this project and my vision. So
nice.
I appreciate you saying that about
the
Matrix.
Well, you know, a lot of people's beef that I've heard about like with electronic music in general is just like, oh, anybody could pick up a computer and get the software and do it. But that's like been like the history of like a lot of different kinds of music. Like a lot of like early like punk music, for example, came from people who were like, well, I can't play like Eddie Van Halen, but I could pick up a guitar and figure something out, you know. And like it's just there's so much yeah, I don't know. So that's what like one of the criticisms I've heard about in the past about electronic music is like, oh, it's almost too accessible, and it's like, well, I mean,
it's too accessible.
Yeah, right. It's like, well, anybody could just pick up and do it. Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of a good thing in my eyes. I mean, it generates maybe some bad music, but whatever. I mean, people live and learn and all that, and I think just even making your own music in general is just definitely a positive thing, especially if it speaks to you.
Hell yeah. And I think okay, that's interesting because I think electronic music has always been controversial, like even since the rise of like any kind of electronic music, like when Bob Dylan went on the electric guitar, like tons of people like hated him for that.
Yes.
You know, or just like whatever, any kind of band around that time. I'm not really familiar with the Beatles, but I'm sure there was like a similar incident with the Beatles.
Well, the Beatles, it was their hair. Like, it was just even not even the music itself. It would be like, oh my gosh, they have long hair now. Now it's devil's music. Like, it was just like, like change is scary, I think, to people in general, and music is no exception.
Yeah, but it's cool because, you know, there's like so many choices in electronic music, and I think it is really accessible to any person. Like, first of all, we all have it within ourselves, like whether somebody thinks they're creative or not, like we all have a connection to music. It's why we're all able to like more or less sing happy birthday together, or like listen to a song, and like someone, even when they're really, really young, are able to tell when it's like out of tune. Like there's something going on neurologically, I think, inside of us, and like the way that we're raised culturally that like links us to music. So that's there. So I think now that I think music production is more accessible to people, there's like a lot more traffic, you know, I think, of people making music, but I think it's exciting because there's so many fucking choices. Like you don't have to just go to like the studio in town and record on a fucking tape player, you know, and like not even have like specific microphones for each instrument, and like only this guy has the microphones and the tape player or the tape recorder or whatever. It's like now there are plugins and like all kinds of different generations of, you know, keyboards from different brands and like hardware instruments, and it just like it makes everything that any musician is doing now like a really distinct choice, because like we are on, I think, the verge of like a lot of genre bending and like new genres coming out, and a lot of, you know, experimental music, which I kind of have like an issue with that label, but I think it's great, and I think anybody who's like, meh, like electronic music doesn't have like either any soul or like it's too accessible, I just think that's elitist and bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's been the same argument about lots of different kinds of art that have like evolved like over the years. Photography, for example, like there's still like the diehard people that will like think that any like digital photography is crap, and it's like it's just another tool, you know. I mean, you know, technological innovations over time tend to improve things. Well, you know, improve things, make them different, I guess. Maybe more so than improve. They can improve things, but I don't know. There are always people that have beef with stuff. I guess that's what I've kind of come to terms with. Yeah, people always have a beef with change for whatever reason. I don't think anybody has a beef with Changes by David Bowie. They do.
He was shocking though, like.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
I was so obsessed with him in high school, and it was like, yeah, like I remember my dad talking about David Bowie and how like, you know, my dad is like this Costa Rican man, like he was an immigrant, you know, pretty much like raised in that fucking like there in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And I think like being a man is like a huge part about that, you know, a huge like sector of Latin culture, right? Like this machismo thing. And like I think for him it was really difficult to like accept David Bowie, because David Bowie, like all the performance, like, you know, wearing makeup and like wearing super like sexy like type like feminine like sexy outfits and like being androgynous, I think was really weird for my dad, you know, to kind of get over. And a lot of people were like, what is this dude doing? You know, I can only imagine. I wasn't alive during that time. Yeah.
But your dad overcoming that initial weirdness then translated to you and your love of David Bowie as well. So I'm glad that your dad got over it.
Yeah,
he got over the makeup, the androgyny, and looked past that and just listened to the music, because that's you know, it'd be a shame if you didn't.
I know. And then there was a big, you know, chance for, I don't know, my dad's cool. My dad's become. Let's not talk about my dad. This is weird. My dad's a great man, though.
Shout out to your dad!
I think there's... Okay. Is there one more thing in there?
There's the third gift! I forgot! Okay.
I don't remember what this one is.
I'm sure everybody was wondering, like, oh, what happened to the third gift? Okay, so this one's a little longer than the other ones. Let's see here.
I really forget. It's been such a long time.
Sticks? What?
Oh, I got you a little.
Oh, it's a chime. Oh, a piccolo chime.
I'm like impressed with me.
Oh, that's cool. We gotta give this a try. Hang on, I'm gonna open it up. Let's see how it sounds. So, I imagine most of these are from your place of work.
Let's
What?
You pull back.
Oh, I see.
I went to the hot tubs with my mom, and I was like, I want you something for Chris, because it's his birthday tomorrow.
So all the gifts are from Sycamore Mineral
really
Springs.
Nice.
Yeah, that is nice. All right, blow on them.
Sounds right.
Latest hot single coming to you from Birthday right now. Blowing on wind chimes. What do you call this one?
Breath.
Breath. Chimes. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to find a good place to put those. Maybe I'll put them like
really nice.
up outside my room. Yeah.
Sounds pleasing.
Sounds nice and That's enough. So I guess I have a question written down. We kind of talked about it a little bit. So, yeah, I'm curious, like, as to some of your, early musical, like, inspiration, or just, music you liked growing up, I guess, like, in general.
I think, okay, so, it's really weird because my music's really dark.
Yeah.
And I think, like, a lot of, even when it's not, like, music, a lot of what I make is really dark, and I, like, totally blame this, on Pink Floyd, because it's my dad again. So, like, my brother, he was, like, he was older than me. He's, like, 6 years older than me. He actually, like, I have this memory of my brother, like, pulling me into his room, like, before going to bed one night. He's like, you can't grow up listening to Britney Spears and, like, Justin Timberlake. He's like, I won't let you become like that. And he played me, like, all different types of music. And they gave me a bunch of CDs to borrow, and I think one of those, or I either, like, took it from his room as Pink Floyd, The Wall. Yeah. But I listened to that when I was, like, 8. So, like, I would be listening to it while I was playing with dolls, like, on a Walkman, and, like, I think that's why I'm, like, so kind of fucked up. I'm not fucked up, but, like, into, like, darker, kind of, like, ethereal stuff, because I was listening to that, and yeah, so that's one, that's, like, a major one, and it's, like, they're still my favorite band. Like, when I listen to them and I listen to the album, like, I feel like, it's like a kid again, so it's, yeah, and, I was really obsessed with, I think, Led Zeppelin in middle school. Just, like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people get into classic rock, like, that's the first thing that most people get into, because of their parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really, really obsessed with Led Zeppelin, and then, like, Gorillaz was the first band that, I think, like, changed my ideas of music, because I was listening to a lot of classic rock, and then when I started listening to them, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's like a fusion of, like, a bunch of different stuff, and I would listen to Demon Days. I went on a cruise for, like, a few weeks, and that's the only CD I brought with me, and, like, that's all I listened to. So, I know that album. So, I think those are, like, the major, like, as I got older, like, started getting to, like, different stuff, and I think I don't listen to those bands as much anymore, but
yeah,
those, I think that's definitely, like, and, like, obviously David Bowie.
Yeah.
I was, like, super, super fucking obsessed with David Bowie in, like, high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Question answered.
There you go.
Yeah. So, okay, so, are there any kind of, like, current other contemporary, like, artists similar to you, like, that you're listening to nowadays that you're inspired by, or, like, or enjoy, that you want to name drop?
Okay, so I recently got, like, feedback from different blogs because I sent one of my songs into, like, a few blogs. So I think, and, like, from my friends, I don't know, some people have said, and I have, like, my opinions about it, but, like, Bjork is actually, one of the blogs compared me to Bjork.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, cool. Like, they didn't take my song, but, like, they were like, this reminds me of, like, Bjork, and it's, like, experimental and different, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then also, I get compared to Grimes a lot. And also, MIA. But I think that's because they're, like, female electronic musicians. I don't think it's necessarily because.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love, like, MIA is, like, my fucking idol, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, it's, like, I'm cool with all that, but, like, at the same time, I'm, like, I really don't think I sound like any of those, especially Grimes. I get really annoyed with Grimes, like, because she's amazing, but, like, people constantly compare me to her. Like, after shows, like, people will be like, that's like Grimes, or, like, people I don't know, they're listening to my music for the first time, that's, like, their frame of reference, and I just think that's really disappointing, because, it's, it's, like, she's, like, a female electronic musician, doing everything herself, kind of, pretty much, and...
It's an easy comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, like, too easy.
Yeah, and I'm like, it frustrates me, because I hear it constantly, and I'm like, fuck, do I sound like her? Like, am I stealing her sound? And it's like, nah, like, I'm really different from her. It's just, there's not a lot of female electronic musicians, I think, that are, like, standing on their own in the way that Grimes is, or that Bjork is. She, like, co-produces everything she makes and writes everything, and, like, MIA is the same way. Like, she makes a lot of the beats, like, on her own fucking MPC, and,
Yeah. Talked about this a little bit on the last episode of the podcast with my good buddy Ethan Burns, about the idea of, like, that does sort of come along with being a musician, is that the sort of, like, the marketing and the whole music, like, industry machine in general has a tendency to, like, they want to give you a genre. They want to give you a label, or this person sounds like this. They want to make it easy for you to fit into a category that would come up, like, on a Spotify playlist or something like that, like after something else like Grimes or whatever. I guess that's kind of just the nature of the beast. I mean, it is unfortunate that people will be quick to make those comparisons based off of, I guess, somewhat more superficial reasons. But at the same time, I guess, I mean, initially when people started saying that, were you kind of, like, flattered, but then, like, over time, like, as more people said it, did it get kind of old, or was it always kind of...
I was concerned at first that I was being compared to these people, because everything, I'm never... Okay, something, like, about my music, which is interesting, like, kind of goes, along with this idea of, like, labeling and, like, having a genre and, like, having a brand, having a style. I know what my style is now, but, like, I think in the beginning and, like, even up till now, like, part of my style is, like, not really following, like, a formula or a genre.
Yeah.
And, like, really trying to, like, create, like, being inspired, by sounds and styles that I'm not hearing. Like, that's what I'm touching, like, the untouched places, and stuff like that. So when people are telling me that, like, wow, you really sound like Grimes. This one girl, she's like, you're like a mix between Grimes and Alanis Morissette. Or, like, I hear Bjork a lot, and, just whatever, like, mainly, like, those artists, I was like, fuck, like, am I just copying a formula? Like, am I just, like, just carbon copying things that I've heard before? Like, I don't but obviously I'm not. It's just like you're saying, it's like people, I think that's, like, part of human nature, but it is also, it's part of human nature to organize things and categorize things.
Yes.
But it's definitely a part of the music industry, no matter if it's, like, on an underground level or at a commercial level.
Yeah.
even myself, like, I had to come to terms with, like, I do need to kind of have an aesthetic or a style, because, like, I'm trying to communicate something. I'm not listening to it just for myself. Like, I'm trying to communicate something to a listener, so I need to be specific about what I'm doing, you know? And, yeah. So, I don't know. It's also, like, it's difficult for me, like, when I have to, like, play shows and stuff, because, like, I'm not just, like, a band that can play at a bar, you know, like, and, like, people can get drunk to my music. People could get drunk to my music, but,
well,
like, you're like, I did when I listened to it.
I've never gotten drunk to listen to your music, I promise. But, I mean, I think you could get drunk and listen to any music, and it would be...
With my music, like, I think people should do, like, acid, you know, or, like, mushrooms. And, like,
there you go.
Come to one of my shows.
You heard it here first. The recommendation.
I support drug use.
The recommendation straight from the artist. Do psychedelic drugs. Come to my show. And so you think that would what do you think that would help people with, or what do you think that would do for people if they were to...
I think my music is really psychedelic, and I think it's like, I think it is coming from this, like, when I'm making music, like, when I'm sitting down and I'm actually making the music, like, I'm experiencing it. Like, I'm playing a sound and I'm just, like, listening to how my body reacts to it, and to, like, how my mind reacts to it and my emotions react to it. And I try to just, like, pair a bunch of sounds together to, like, kind of create I think, like, an experience for myself, to, like, take me somewhere maybe, like, a little deeper, you know. And I think that's why people do psychedelic drugs, you know. And I don't know, people don't have to do drugs to open a show. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I would probably prefer that to people, like, getting just, like, drunk and, like, blacking out, you know, or whatever. Because, like, I like to have, like, really, like, intimate shows and, like, have a strobe light going, or, like, fucking fog, or, like, weird, like, a light show. Like, my friend does really cool, like, visual, like, art. And it's really, like, when I do a show, it's hard, like, finding a space, you know. Like, sometimes I just have to do a show, and it's, like, kind of, I feel like it's, like, I wish it could be, like, so much more, like, interactive. But sometimes I'm, like, put on a stage, like, in a, you know, kind of in a bar with, like, tables and tea lights, and I have to, like, reckon with that. But I want people to be, like, involved and transcended and, like, affected by what they're listening to. And it's not necessarily dance music. Like, people have danced at my shows, but I think more often than not, people are, like, they're tuning in. And that's, you know, that's what I like. And going back to the brand thing, it's like, well, where the fuck do you do that in San Luis Obispo? Like,
yes, yeah.
Or even in LA, when I've performed in LA, you know, I really love warehouse spaces, because they're all about, like, you know, like, what's, you know, the next kind of, like, the next thing that's coming up, or stuff that is considered underground because it's not, like, so readily accepted yet.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let's see here. So hey, Chimes. So the track list for Lost ?
Yes, question.
So that's how you pronounce the name of the album? Lost? Just imagine some guy leaning in. Lost? I can help.
It's just Lost, but yeah, it is a question.
So song number 1, I Get Visions. Mm-hmm. Song number 2, Mourn. Mm-hmm. Song number 3, Darkest Truth. Mm-hmm. Song number 4, Bristle, Eyes, and Bone. Mm-hmm. And song number 5, Desire. It's all very evocative titles. I'm not going to ask you to explain, like, what any of the songs mean, because I think that's up to people to, you know, figure out themselves, or listen and determine it. Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's kind of like I could sit here and go through the list and be like, so what do you desire? What do you mourn? What are your visions about? What's your darkest truth? But yeah, no, I think that's definitely should be just left up to the listener for sure. But I thought I'd at least list the titles off because they're all very interesting. So this is your sophomore release. Mm-hmm. How would you compare your first to your second release? How is this different from your first release, which is titled Ardath? Ardath, Ardath.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, how are they different?
Sorry.
Nice. Might as well call it the burpcast now.
I had a really nice scramble. I ate so many sweets today because last night I was sound checking until like 2 a.m. So I'm like, anyway, it's like my body like can't digest.
Yeah.
So, how's it different? Okay, well, I think my process is like really different from the first one. So like the first one, I've been making music for 2 years now. 2 years, so it's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
I do it all the time, like I do it every day, but so I think I've grown very quickly. But the first EP that I made, I basically just made because my friend was like, yo, you should make an EP.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so I did it, but like not really knowing like how to fucking go about that. So I basically like I had a nice little financial cushion and I wasn't working, and for 3 months I just kind of like stayed in my apartment and made it, but like I didn't really have any kind of like a concept in mind, or like I didn't even have like a creative process of like sitting down and like this is how I make songs, like, so I was all over the place. And with this EP, like, I did have a really, really clear idea after the last EP was done, like, what I wanted to do on the next EP, and, like, what I wanted kind of, like, in the very back of my mind, like, the theme to be, like, I had that title, for, I think, a year while I was making it. Like, that, like, this is the title, I'm gonna go off this title, whatever
Lost?
this means. Yeah, Lost.
Oh,
okay. It was really about cleaning up my, my writing process, my production process, how I manage time, and just, like, getting to know myself, I think, as a craftsperson, really, like, just refining my craft.
Yeah.
And my skill, and knowing how I worked. Like, when I came into this, I was like, I know how I work, so I'm able to, like, I guess use that to my advantage in doing something more specific, Yeah. So I think that's the difference. I think if you, like, listen to my first, even if you just listen to the first song on my last EP, and then you listen to, like, any of the fucking songs on this, like, you'll hear the difference, like, immediate. It's just a lot more organized, I think, and just sounds like, even the vocals, like, on my last one, I'm, like, singing, but you can't really hear what I'm saying, and, like, sometimes I change the lyrics around, like, like,
yeah.
For this one, everything's, like, more specific and deliberate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think everybo's curious as to...
Everybody's curious.
Everybody's curious as to, do you have any upcoming shows planned at the moment?
I don't have any planned right now. It's something that I just got done with, like, promoting it.
Right.
Like, so that is my next step. Also maybe a music video, but
Ooh.
Yeah, this other blog was like, can we have a music video? And I was like, yeah, let me just whip a music video, like, out of my ass.
Yeah, why not? Let me stand up so I can pull a music video out of my ass real quick.
Do I have any upcoming show? I don't have any, like planned, but I have been talking to people, like, different people in this area, different people in LA, some people in Santa Barbara. So, that's something I want to get going. And if anybody's listening and would like me to play at your venue, whether it's your house or your 2-car garage or your coffee shop or formal venue, hit me up at bdaysound@gmail.com.
Okay, that's probably a good thing to get across. So where can people find you on the World Wide Web? Couple different places, right?
Yeah, my Instagram is birth_day 8.
The number 8.
The number 8. Yeah. And then my Facebook is just birthday, 2 words. And then on SoundCloud, if you type in birthday, 2 words, you have to, like, look under people, and I'm the first one. There's, like, a picture of me, like, looking angry in the forest. I look like, what'd you just say? Like,
what did you just say out here in this
like,
forest?
Boy, don't play me like that. Like, what did I just hear this for?
Don't play me out here in these trees, boy.
We about to get lots, okay?
What's your favorite hot sauce?
You know, there's this interview, like, YouTube channel where it's like this, I forgot what it's called, but it's this guy, and he, like, just sits down with a bunch of different people, and he interviews them while he's making them eat chicken wings.
Really?
With different levels of hot sauce. Yeah, like,
Whoa.
Spicy levels.
So it gets progressively, like, harder to, like, talk over.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
sure,
people are
crying and sweating.
Like, Russell Brand is, like, you know, who's, like, into meditation, like, whatever, like, being peaceful and all that stuff. He's like, oh my god, like, I can't handle this! Like, just losing his shit, crying, like, drinking milk.
Yeah.
I really like, I mean, there's always Tapatio in the fridge, but I really, really like the Cayucas hot sauce. The pepper that's, like, surfing.
Oh, yes. Anybody that's listening, they're by no means a sponsor of the show, but please indulge in some Cayucas hot sauce. I don't know how to spell. I forget how to spell Cayucas every time I...
Cayucos.
Cos, yeah. Cayucas hot sauce. That shit is delicious.
It has a pepper with sunglasses, and he's, like, hanging 10 on a surfboard.
Yeah, and it's, like... There's been times where I'll go into like a restaurant around here in this area, and if they happen to have Cayucas hot sauce sitting, like, on their table, I'm like, oh, I'm coming back.
You just put it in your purse.
Oh yeah.
Like,
my purse, my man purse. Oh man, that stuff is really good. You can put it on almost anything, right?
You can. Yeah.
Oh man, it's better than siracha.
I put hot sauce on oatmeal before.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of oatmeal?
Just more like plain, not just like
plain oatmeal.
Not like apple.
You
know.
I haven't had oatmeal in a while.
Yeah, I used to eat it every morning in college. That's why I did so well.
Brain food. Them oats.
Damn oats.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, Cayucas happens to be my favorite hot sauce too. I
really?
think I was gonna say it's definitely up there. I'll have to give them a shout out. I'll tag them.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out, Cayucas.
You should have them like, hey, can we have like 20 free bottles and we'll like talk about it on your podcast, but you just get all this free hot sauce.
Oh.
And you just like talk them up.
Oh,
like,
man.
What's your favorite hot sauce? Cayucas hot sauce. Like everybody.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Like at some point, if I get sponsors, I can't wait to like do like you hear on other podcasts, like a live read. Like the host of the show will just like do like a read of like some kind of product or whatever. At the moment, it's just like the sponsors of this podcast are me. And Apple, I guess, because I'm recording this on my iPhone. Mm-hmm. But eventually, so if anyone out there's listening, be interested in being a sponsor of this podcast, definitely get a hold of me and let me know. You can find me, of course, I'm sure you've already found me if you're hearing this, but just get a hold of me on any of that crap online resources. Instagram, I have a Facebook, I have an email, podcastwithoutacause@gmail.com. I would love to have you as a sponsor. I can be like when I finally get like the actual audio gear set up, I can be like, these are the Cayucas hot sauce headphones. These are the I don't know, what's a business that might sponsor me, you think?
What's local? Slow Soap Company.
Yeah, the Slow Soap Company mixer that I use to mix
805 beer.
Yeah.
Kind of huge.
Oh yeah, 805 Firestone. Yeah, Firestone might sponsor me. I have a friend that Colin. He works for.
I think I have a friend who works there too.
Yeah, maybe we can get them into it.
Yeah.
And we get like these would be like the Firestone 805 microphone.
Damn.
I'm thinking of other gear that I'm gonna eventually get set up, but
Mm-hmm.
I think might be fun, right? Have sponsors. They could just like for just one time, just like kick me down $50. Be like, I will mention you on literally every episode, and you will have your own product like that. I'd be like, oh hello, this is my guest Yada, and they're wearing the Cayucas hot sauce headphones.
Put pepper stickers on it.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. I think that'd be fun. What's your favorite sci-fi movie?
Oh my god. Okay, so
you don't have to pick like just one, I guess, if you want to list a couple. But
my favorite movie is The Fifth Element.
Ooh.
I think it's just, for me, that's another movie I watched when I was really young.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it so deeply. Obviously Blade Runner is like a classic.
Are you excited for the new one?
You know what? I'd be down to go see it with you.
Okay, let's go see it.
Yeah. I'm like really picky now, like go movies, but like I'm down. You know, I'm not expecting anything really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually did film a music video, not my music video, but somebody else's music video, in the apartment that Harrison Ford lives in the original Blade Runner.
Really?
It's what the fuck is it? It's Frank Lloyd Wright. It's like the Edison House or something. It's in LA.
It's in LA, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously Blade Runner is a classic. I really like, I don't know, like I like movies like Starship Troopers.
Oh, it's so good. Oh my god.
Like those are fun too. Like the serious, like beautiful, artsy, cinematic sci-fi films are like obviously gorgeous, but like I really like the campy ones as well. So like that is another movie that like if that's on, I'm like yes,
sold.
like I'm committed. Like
yes.
I'm here.
Yeah. You ever see the modern or the somewhat more modern version of Lost in Space? Oh my gosh, Danger, Will Robinson, Danger. Oh, that's a really good one. It's very campy, and just like, and if any of the actors from this movie are listening, I'm really sorry, but pretty much everybody in that movie, short of Gary Oldman, who's like all good and like everything,
he is.
Every single actor in that movie reminded me of like young Anakin Skywalker acting. But it's just such a deliciously good.
You're like, what's your favorite sci-fi? I'm like, Star Wars Episode 3. Get out.
Hey, out of all the new, the newish 1 through 3. Yeah, I mean, let's rank those.
One is obviously I don't know. I think 1 is the worst.
Which, so 1's Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
2 is Attack of the Clones. 3 is
No, what is it? I don't even know. Darth Vader gets his legs cut off.
Yeah, that one.
You were my brother!
Spoilers!
I loved you!
I have the high ground, Anakin! That's a worthwhile lesson in life. Don't ever... Yeah, no. If someone has the high ground, just let it be. They won.
That's ego, and that's why he got his legs cut off.
Yeah. You'd think that, ironically, if someone had the high ground, they'd be the more likely one to get their legs cut off, because their legs are... So you have a lightsaber.
It's one of the faults of that movie.
Yeah. I never thought about it that way before. How does Anakin get his legs cut off if if Obi-Wan has the high ground? He does like a front flip?
Yeah, he like does something fancy, and Obi's like, nah, bro.
Nah, son. Yeah.
Just slices those little sausages off.
Yeah, that was rough.
He's a good actor too. He's just awful in those movies.
Oh yeah, Aiden.
Yeah, Christensen.
Aiden Christensen. Yeah, he's great. Hayden Christensen. Yeah, right.
Aiden. You know that guy. What happened to his career? Ugh. No.
I want to know what happened to young Anakin. I want to like that actor.
No.
I don't know if he's still around or did anything. Has done anything? Probably not.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
Yeah, I think Natalie survived that.
Yes.
Natalie survived, and Ewan survived as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But everything else. I haven't read a video game back in the day. It was Star Wars: The Gungan Frontier, and it was like basically all took place. It was like one of those like civilization building games that took place in like those underwater bubbles that like Jar Jar Binks's like whole like
tribe. That actually sounds fun.
It was actually pretty cool. But there'd be random occurrences in the game, like there'd be like these random like catastrophic events and stuff like that.
Big fish or
like plague or like I don't know, crazy stuff. Well, yeah.
There.
Well, that's the nature of those like civilization building games is that they occasionally will throw something your way like a underwater tornado or something stupid or whatever. But that's like
Age of Empires, isn't that a video game.
Yeah, Age of Empires. Yeah.
Yeah, I fucked with that when I was younger.
Yeah. Those kind of games are fun. You kind of get a sense like you're building something.
Yeah.
Versus just like endlessly like mowing down enemies with like a sword or something like that. You're kind of like building something and trying to create something. But anyways. Yeah. I love my presents. Thank you. They're all very nice. I definitely need a dream catcher for sure. I don't know where to hang. I'd probably hang it like over on that like little.
By your sleeping head.
Yeah, we're in my bedroom right now. In case anybody was curious as to like where I record this, we're like literally.
There's a lot of really nice. Are they? I feel like they're Japanese screens, right?
Yeah, why not?
They're very elegant.
Yeah, I have like these like those like folding kind of like screen things.
I feel like I would feel like was in a spa if it weren't for the cat carrier.
Yeah.
But it looks great now.
Oh, you know my parents who were just here and my sister just left right before you got here. We're getting a new dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, our dog recently we had to put down Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy.
Yeah, I miss her. But getting a new dog, I think the mourning period has been long enough where we're getting a new dog right now. So
another furry family member.
Yeah. They're going and getting I think they're just looking at it, but they're driving like an hour away to it's like this
Catherine probably knows like what's up too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of the like I don't know, a place that breeds them, but like I told my mom, we're going and getting a dog from a puppy mill, huh? And she was like, no, it is not anything like that.
Your mom's hip
These people
to what's going on.
Yeah. So she knows what she's doing. I always push to adopt.
Yeah.
If possible, as I'm adopted, and I think it's a good thing to do. But we actually, did you ever see the photo I posted? This random like Alaskan like husky just like randomly showed up in our neighborhood, like,
I saw
that. I was like trying to push to adopt it, but it was just huge, and it was like already like very grown.
Train huskies too.
I know, it's rough, but we ended up finding out somehow that the original owners didn't want him anymore or something, and it just kind of like abandoned him somehow.
Dicks.
Yeah, I know, right?
People do that a lot.
I know, yeah. Oh, I saw a cute video on the internet yesterday of well, it's not cute. I don't know. These guys are out fishing, and it's like one of those videos like the kittens.
Oh my god, I saw that video too.
I know.
And he's like, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
These two rednecks. Are
you seeing that? Yeah, but they're like rednecks, but they're cool, you know? Because they like pluck the little kittens out.
Yeah, rednecks can be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Oh yeah, it's like these two. At first it's just one. It's just you just see it swimming towards the boat, and like they pick it up and drop it in the boat and like pet it and stuff and rescue these kittens. I don't know if it was like, I don't know where it was, or if I don't think it was the result of any hurricane stuff that was happening.
No, that was before. No? That was before.
Oh, okay.
Harvey. Yeah. But they're like swimming from this kind of island. I think the guys are talking in it. They're like, some asshole probably just dropped them off without a care and blah blah blah. That's why I was like, these guys are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like one kitten comes and they're like, oh my god, it's a swimming kitten, and they like take the kitten, they like pluck the kitten out, and it's like just like so. And then another fucking kitten. They're like beaming over this kitten, and as they're doing that, he's like, oh my god, and like in the distance, there's like this cat like meow, like on the island, and it's like bloop, and like plops in the water and like swims over.
Yeah.
Recognizing that it like they're gonna probably take him in too.
Oh, and they're like, oh my god, they're twins.
Yeah.
They look extremely similar. They're probably like like brothers or something like that. That was my cute overload for the day. We need more stuff like that. There's a lot of crazy stuff, of course, happening in the world right now.
Yeah.
I think we're at like the tail 15 minutes or so of this the podcast, but there's of course Hurricane Harvey that just devastated Houston. Our thoughts go out to everybody affected by that. It's of course terrible. I mean, I think it was something I'd heard like somewhere like 40 people died or something like that.
Oh god, yeah.
And now like the Hurricane Irma and Jose are both like both have just devastated like islands, like kind of I forget the names of them, but already just like there's this one island, I think it's like St. Kitts or something like that. I heard that like their 4 biggest structures were just completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And
and we like in California, like we're on the San Andreas Fault,
yes.
Especially where we are.
Yes.
And we're due for an earthquake, so
right?
Yeah, and like that kind of stuff you can't plan for. Like hurricanes, you can it's crazy because, like, there's only so much you can do even when you have notice, I think, for a lot of people
right.
that are in those, like, they can't afford to, like, leave.
Yeah.
Like, literally cannot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not to be a downer, but, like, that's a reality of, like, living in this area. Like, whenever I'm driving, I'm like, I kind of think of all, like, the worst case scenarios, and I'm always like, what if an earthquake hit right now? Like, what would I do?
I will say, just to anybody out there listening, if you're listening, don't be that guy, like, when, like, a disaster happens that hits the road and immediately crashes your car and then backs up traffic for miles and makes it so nobody else can escape. I always think about that, like, it just takes, like, one person just, like, freaking out, just, driving away that's just gonna crash their car, and then there's traffic, and then not everybody can get away.
It's true.
And then it turns into, like, a Walking Dead scenario where you see just, like, there's, like, still, like, cars lined up on the freeways, post-apocalypse and all that, because people trying to get away, but they couldn't because... some guy
because that asshole
freaking out too hard, couldn't handle his shit, and crashed his car.
Like that, it's gonna be like an older person, not an ageism thing. I'm just saying, like,
it's fair though.
It's gonna be like a 16-year-old driver who's like driving for the first time. He's gonna freak. It's like Anyway, it's always something to think about. If you are in bed and there's an earthquake, you're supposed to stay in the bed. That's what I learned. Most people will get injured during earthquakes when they're, like, trying to escape a building.
Sure, yeah.
And, like, something falls on them.
Did I ever tell you that I was having sex once and then there was an earthquake?
So
I won't go into details, but
You're like,
it was...
is this just me or there's the room shaking?
Definitely trippy. It was like scary though, because like like you said, you can never be like fully prepared. Imagine being naked and like we're on the San Andreas Fault. What's gonna happen? And then like just like running to like get clothes on and like hiding
for
underneath
real,
like a door
or like
jam.
in the shower or something.
That'd be terrible. Yeah,
I've had some sex during a thunderstorm. That was awesome.
Dang.
Anytime the natural elements are involved, you're like, yeah,
this was meant to be. Again, on that note, definitely everybody out there, be safe. Be sure to like prep yourself in case of any
we live in California.
Anything could happen. Yeah, I mean, I imagine most of the people listening are probably Californiites, San Luis Obispo residents. That's where we're located, at least that area. But definitely just be ready. Like have some like water bottles in your trunk of your car or like in your house or something like that ready. Flashlights, lanterns. I just have like a go bag of like stuff you might need. I don't know why I felt the need to do like a public service announcement.
Well, shit's going on in the world,
Yeah. Did you hear today in Chicago the mayor?
I don't read the news.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. This is a good
I talk about the news a lot, but go on. Yeah.
So today the mayor of Chicago declared Chicago a Trump-free zone.
Okay.
Literally said, "You're not allowed here, dude."
Jesus.
And I just imagine Trump is just somewhere, just thinking, and by somewhere I mean the White House. Fuck.
Can the mayor of Chicago do that?
I think it's more of like a symbolic, like protest to the DACA repeal, the Dreamers thing repeal.
Yeah.
I think that's more what it is. I think if Trump wanted to, he's the fucking president. He can go to Chicago if he wants to.
Yeah, he's probably going to be able to go there.
But I imagine he's somewhere, and by somewhere, of course, the White House right now, just thinking to himself, "Fuck Chicago.
Oh my god.
They're a bunch of losers and criminals. I don't want to go there anyway."
God, no, it isn't real. Wake up! Wake up!
Wake up! Wake up! It was all a dream.
Oh god, I fucking wish.
I guess the public service announcement. Be ready for the worst. Seems like we're in some tumultuous times. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to like end this on some like resounding like inspirational shit. I guess okay. So we can wrap it up. So again, where can you be reached? Where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
My Instagram is birth.
Leaning into the mic.
_day 8. My Facebook. I bet you, like, as I'm doing this, it's gonna be like, no. Like, you're not gonna hear it.
Well, half the time we're talking away from it, like over in that direction. It doesn't matter.
My Facebook is birthday, 2 words. My SoundCloud is soundcloud.com/birth_day, or you can search birthday, 2 words, look under the people's tab, and there will be a picture of me judging you so hard in the forest. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
I think those are all my linky links. I'm trying to get a Twitter. I'm trying to get on that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting a Twitter for this podcast too, but it's like, so yeah, I haven't done that yet. I actually have only recently got on Twitter, like, and I
have a Twitter, but I was just following Will Ferrell for a while, and then I just...
That's it?
Just for his jokes, and then I stopped.
Oh man, yeah, Twitter's interesting. It's definitely a whole different beast. People have been on Twitter for so long. I always forget that it's just been around for so long. But it's like that random third. It seemed like that third wheel, like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like, yeah, but it's like
tons of people are on it. Yeah, it's a community for sure, and I feel like I'm not included in the community. You know,
yeah.
So I'm like, I want to get in on that. FOMO.
Yeah.
Not really. It's just more like promotion and marketing.
Yeah. It's like you can only do so much in, 140 characters? That's like kind of the weird thing about it, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's just a little limited like that, but hey, who am I to judge? Twitter, you're awesome. If you're listening, Twitter, sorry for shitting on you, but anyways. Okay, well, that's it. Thanks everybody for listening. This has been lovely. We're going to play out this episode with a song by Birthday. And if you'd like, feel free to introduce it.
Okay. Birthday. The song is called Bristle, Eyes, and Bone. And I'm not going to tell you what it's about.
Yeah!
You listen to it.
And it is the 4th song.
It's the 4th song. It's actually, right now, it's like the 1st song on SoundCloud. And then it's like the 4th song. I think it might be the title track when I release physical copies. Because it is the most popular song. It's... Yeah, on my EP. I think people have been reacting to that song more than the other ones.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
it's a great song.
Yeah.
It is the penultimate, which is one of my favorite words ever. The second to last. Yeah. Is it Shakespeare?
I think
it has to be Shakespeare. Everything's Shakespeare. Anyways, the penultimate song on Lost by
Lost?
Birthday. And the title
is Bristle, Eyes, and Bone.
Bristle, Eyes, and Bone. Enjoy. Thanks for listening. All right. Okay, so we're back. So I completely forgot that I had posed a question to the universe, asking if there was any questions that anybody had for Miss Sonya Lanelle Chávez, aka Birthday. And so we got 2.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, why don't you pull it up on yours? One from our first guest, Ethan Burns. Ask her about her songwriting process and the recording process. So we kind of touched on your songwriting process pretty much, but tell us a little bit about your recording process.
I mean, I'm making electronic music, so the recording process is happening as I'm creating it. Mm-hmm. But what I did for this EP was I went into a cabin in the woods in Cambria, and my dad's like little cabin, and I recorded as many songs as I could within a week. And then from there I had a pool, just like 15 minutes to 2 hours. And I just brought in like a little dynamic mic and like I have a push, and I just like made some quick sloppy stuff, right? And then whichever songs, I think I had like 30 songs that I made, and then I chose 5. Yeah. I chose these 5 to develop.
Whoa.
Yeah. And you know, I guess the process in which I'm like creating all of this stuff, I'm just trying to like conjure up as much as I can, like the beats and even my vocals and all this stuff. And I try to fit in as much as I like, create as much as I can and hear as much as I can, and then I try to strip that away. And yeah, and then, you know, it's just like I'm drunk on some of these songs, to be honest. Maybe like of 2 of them. I'm like, I've been drinking, and You're like,
I don't like people showing up drunk to my shows, but hell, I'll drink when I'm recording.
You know, they're all different. I'm all in that cabin. I recorded everything in that cabin.
Yeah.
And then I mixed and mastered everything in my bedroom, in my home studio. I have a little home studio set up. And, I have, just, I got monitors, I've got I'm legit, like, I'm just device testing, it's like all stuff that isn't, I think that I find fun, most people, it's technical stuff.
Gotcha.
So, does that answer
your
question? Okay.
Yes, well, I don't know. I hope that answers your question, Ethan. And the second question, which I don't know why we have to pull up, because it's directly from Birthday. What's it like to go to prom with Chris Gardner, and how was she able to beat the competition?
There was competition, actually. But,
So, okay, yeah, I disclaimed it somewhat, but yeah, Lanelle and I were actually prom dates. This is in 2009?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the year we graduated high school. So, yes, go ahead.
Well, basically, I wanted to make sure that my prom date could match my color scheme that I had going on.
That's important.
Yeah. That actually wasn't, we ended up, like, matching. Do you remember that? Like,
yeah, black and white.
It was black, white, and red.
Yeah.
And even, like, Anya and Michelle and John were, like, all wearing similar colors.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I'm pretty honored. I basically took a whole year of showcasing myself to Chris that I was the best prom date, and
yes,
that I don't know, what the fuck did we do when we went to prom? We went to prom and
we went in Michelle's convertible.
Yeah, and there was vodka bottles in the back.
Yeah,
and they were clanking around.
We were like on our way there, like, what is that? And Michelle's like, oh yeah, there's vodka in the trunk. And we're like, what? Why are we bringing it to prom? It's not like we're gonna drink it.
I remember after prom we went over to Anya's, and I kind of started smoking weed a lot when I was like 17. Mm-hmm. But I was still, like,
Who doesn't, am I right?
Yeah.
It was like, that's the year, I think.
Yeah, but I remember taking a bong rip, like, too hard. And I was, like, freaking out. I was like, oh my god! And, like, I ended up, like, burping. And then I felt better. And John was like, you're not supposed... Or I think... Who the fuck was it? I think it was. He's like, you're not supposed to drink the bong water. I remember that. And that was really fun.
Yeah. I remember taking pictures was a lot of fun. Like, we went and hung out with Mr. Callahan. And,
we took pictures with Finn.
Yeah,
we should show this to Mr. Callahan.
I know, yeah. And I think, hopefully there's a copy somewhere on the internet of Finding Finn.
Yes.
We recorded a little, a short film. I guess you'd call it. Of course, yeah, that's what you call it. It's a short film.
Hell yeah.
Basically, is about our drama teacher, Mr. Callahan. He's just the coolest guy ever. And Callie, what up, dude? I hope you're listening. We recorded a video called Finding Finn, and his baby's name is Finn, or it's his, like, not even his baby, it's his son, his grown, like, 9-10-year-old. Oh my god, he's that old now.
And he has a daughter now, too.
He has a daughter, wow.
Yeah.
But we recorded a movie, and the basic premise is that Lanelle is like the babysitter that is hired by Mr. Callahan and his wife to, like, watch the baby, and then then you call me, right?
Yeah,
and you're like, hey, come over, I'm just watching this dumb baby.
Yeah, I got this house to myself and video games and pizza.
Yeah. And it was basically just an elaborate ruse just to get us to just hang out and eat pizza. And
they made us fucking pizza.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wasn't it like homemade pizza or something weird like that?
I don't know.
I feel like it was. I think
it was good, though.
I think his wife made us.
I was chubby at the time, too, so I was taking that shit down.
Ooh.
I was like...
Good times, though. I remember didn't we like arrange like M&Ms as like a trail to like trace our steps? Like ran like a house.
I know.
We did. Was fun.
Yeah, and then I remember he was like, okay, now pick up Finn. So like we lose the baby in the process.
Yes. Oh yeah, the baby gets lost somehow,
yeah.
And that's like kind of so we're goofing off and then we lose the baby. So then go ahead.
But I remember like Mr. Callahan was like, yeah, so just like put him back in his crib in this shot, and I was like, how the fuck do you hold a baby? Like I was terrified, and like so in the shot I'm like, okay, like sweating like bullets and just like trying to put his child, like his newborn baby, into this crib, and I'm like a 70-year-old asshole, like
Well, like then we were supposed to. Then like the scene where we find him is because he was literally laying down in the front lawn.
He has a little camo jumper on.
He has the little camo jumper. He's laying down on the grass in the front yard, and he wanted me, like Mr. Callan wanted me to trip over him.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, just fake like you're tripping over him, just fall over. I'm like, what? So just like stand up, like I'm like walking towards him and trying to pretend like I don't see him there, and just trip and fake trip and fall over him. I did it. It looked great. It was like because I do my own stunts and I do them well, but.
So
yeah, no. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, we gotta find that. Maybe
so that's how I, secured the prom date. Was basically like being his best friend.
Yeah.
Best friends.
Oh, it was an easy choice, and it was fun.
Yeah. I wasn't even going to go to prom.
Yeah, me neither.
I wasn't going to go to prom. You're like, you want to go? And I was like, yeah, man.
Heck yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So yes, thanks for tuning to this after recorded portion. So now we're really going into the song.
Okay, yeah.
So go ahead and introduce the song again, just for safety's sake.
The song is called "Bristle, Eyes, and Bone," and I think it will be the title track off of my EP when I release physical copies, which you can pick up at Boo Boo Records. They'll be there. Yeah. So follow me on Instagram, and yeah, the lovely men there, aka Frank.
At Boo Boo Records in San Luis Obispo.
He's a homie, so yeah, he was like, is it any good? And I was like, yeah, it's good. He's like, okay, yeah, you can sell it here.
That's the question he asked anybody coming into the store trying to sell them his albums. Is it any good?
Yeah.
It's like, no, man, it's shit, but you can sell it anyway. Why not, right? What's it to you? Yeah. So yeah, okay. So again, thanks for listening. Here is Blood, Eyes, and Bristle, in that order. Just kidding. Bristle, Eyes, and Bone. Here it is. Thanks for listening.
When you come around, Linda, pure skinny talent.